Hello, everyone. Welcome to the class. I hope that everyone is doing very well. It is 9:31 now, and I have to say,
Good evening, Professor.
hey, Dev. Good day, good evening. How are you, Taiba?
Good, Professor. How about you?
I am well. I am well this week. It feels like a very long time has passed since we last saw each other in week 2.
Yes, we had
And
a workshop then last week.
yes, you guys had a very, very cool thing to happen every semester, and it's student engagement. And it's just you and I right now. It is Thursday night, right?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm surprised. Where's everybody at? But we'll continue. So, I saw your so how are you doing, first of all?
Good, Professor.
Good, good. So, I had an interesting 2 weeks. Week 2, of course, we saw each other that Thursday. Week 3, engagement week. I had a death in my family. My mother-in-law passed away that Saturday. And a buddy of mine who I went to school with, his mother passed away. So I had a funeral to go to on Wednesday night, and I had a funeral to go to on Thursday. So normally you would have seen more activities from me, like in 6-9 and 691 class when we didn't have a discussion. You would always get announcements from me, videos of classes or videos of chapters we didn't completely read, or anything that will help you stay engaged while we are not meeting that week. So I didn't do a whole lot that week, but great, because of everything that was going on. But I am well. My in-laws are well. My buddy, of course, is well, and that was my week 3. So I know that yours was much better. But
Sorry to hear about it,
well,
Professor.
thank you. The school actually sent to me a beautiful flower. I was so impressed with what they sent. It was amazing. Can you see it? No. Well, there's a dog in there too, but
Yes, Professor.
they sent
Oh, that's good.
it is. It's huge. Um, so I was very impressed to get that from Westcliff. My boss, the program chair for the graduate courses for project management, Dr. Fuller, I let him know that week that I did have a passing, and he asked if I had any classes, and I said, well, no, I don't, I'm not in any classes. I'm not, doing anything. So it does make it easy for me to organize, being away. This week or yesterday is when I got the flower. So I really appreciate and think a whole lot that the school did that. But a little bit sad story, but I'm in a good mood. Tell me, Taiba, and hi, Liam, hi, Genevieve, whenever you come on. Um, Tell me about week 3, your workshop.
So my topic was on data visualization. So it was a fun. We had an activity in the second half. We got an access to the hand full of it, like how to use a Tableau. And it was a great one, how to utilize the graphics, charts to express our thought of thinking about it, like visualizing it, what we bring it up to the presentations in the audience and all.
You know,
So,
if you could think of one thing of how that actually resonate with your IT project management course or something you do at work, what would you think? What would you say? You think for a moment about digital visualization.
yes, digitalization of the about the I'll make sure about the easy communication in between the stakeholders, like how to manage it, how I can be presenting my thought of thinking in the way of the graphics,
Okay.
which will be making it easier for the other person to acknowledge it too.
Yeah, and definitely getting your hands in the raw data and being able to manipulate it to your audience. You know, I like doing that, you know, now. I mean, I don't do a whole lot of it now because I have a team that does it, but I occasionally like to get my hands in and kind of see what it looks like and being able to manipulate and actually being a part of how we can visually present that to our clients that or our audience or whoever we're showing it to. So great workshop last week. Genevieve, how are you tonight?
Hello, Professor. I'm doing okay.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Were you a part of the engagement week last week?
Yes, I was. The workshop that I participated in was to do with personal finance.
Okay.
Um, yes. And ironically, it was actually the same workshop that they put me in last session. And I asked for a switch, but I didn't actually get a response. And so went to the same workshop again. It was by a different professor of different faculty that conducted. Similarly, in the lines of we had an introduction, we were walked through why personal finance is important, and especially being young adults and how like the inflation is working on. So it felt like a very relevant topic to discuss. We did have an activity where we sort of looked at budgeting. We looked at like the key areas of personal finance, budgeting, savings, and like a lot of different aspects as well. So we had like a tracker, a sort of Excel spreadsheet that was shared with us in terms of having us walk through, simulate an experience of what it would look like to save for a personal goal, looking at our expenses, income, how long it would take to get there. And how I would relate that to IT project management is one aspect of the most obvious would be budget planning, of course.
Yes.
But I think it also talks about just the planning aspect of it. I think it dives into just planning in terms of like, what is the end goal that you're trying to achieve in a project? What are the resources that are going to be required to get you there? What is the sort of like the different aspects that you would need to get you there? And how do you get to that end goal?
Awesome. I would agree. You were reading it off of my brain. I think we probably had this conversation in 691 class about how important it is to be a part of budgeting, to be a part of planning, that whole financial piece, even before the project starts. There's got to be a financial piece in place in order to get it going.
Yep.
You know, if it's an internal project, not like a third party is like paying you, our company is like, we have a budget of $1 million and we want to, we want to innovate, transform our help desk or our technical system infrastructure.
Yep.
You know, well, how much is the resources going to cost? You know, how much manpower we need? You know, how many systems we're going to be replacing? You know, are we going to need third-party vendors? So all of that is essential for project managers to know about and be a part of. Liam, how are you tonight, buddy?
Yeah, not doing bad.
Oh, good. Well, good. Were you a part of the engagement week last week?
Yes, did data visualization.
Okay. All right. What do you think about the workshop, and how would that actually be a part of your class? And I'm sorry, I'm shaking my leg here, shaking the thing there. Go ahead.
To tell the truth, I was a little bit disappointed with the
Mm.
yeah, it kind of felt a little bit like a waste of a class.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't very collaborative. We got put into breakout rooms. No one came into the room to kind of discuss anything.
Wow.
No one
Okay.
in my group turned their cameras on to discuss a single thing.
Wow.
It was just a waste of time, to be honest.
Well, that definitely does sound like a waste of time. I am sorry. I know that and I know that the school does a lot with engagement week. I'm not sure why that particular workshop wasn't what you thought it would be. I would definitely, if there is a feedback form, please fill that out. You know, I know that everyone strive for perfection. When I know I do, and when something happens, it doesn't work, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, but
you
I think it was
know.
just the breakout room I got put into, because when we got brought back into the class, people were presenting their tableau, and I didn't have a clue what was going on because no one in my group even turned their cameras on or said hello.
Okay,
And
sound like
I
it
was
might be a blend of
and I didn't get any sort of response.
well, please, I know working here at Westcliff, and I've worked at 4 other schools, they are big on training, they're big on feedback forms, they're big on communication. For us, for faculty, we have, I mean, if I sign up for it, there is a class that I could be a part of every day. I know that they send a lot of forms out after every presentation, every workshop at faculty level. I'm hoping that they do that as well for the workshop. Please fill that out. If you didn't have opportunity to fill that out, reach out to the workshop faculty. A little quick email. Hey, my name is Liam. You know, I was a part of the class. This is what kind of happened here, just so we can be prepared that we don't let things like that happen. You know, it is for our graduate students. This is the last time you guys will be with us. And we want to provide you guys with some really great away from live classes with me, with your professor, but to learn something differently that can also be a part of your development, you know, either now in your current course and so on. So please let us know. Whatever you say to us, you know, even in my class, if it's negative or positive, it goes in an area of improvement. It goes in an area of improving technology. It goes in an area of everything to make things better. Okay, so please let us know about that. We did, of course, as I was saying with Taiba, I haven't seen you guys since week 2. So here we are on week 4. Here we are on week 4 with 4 more weeks. Actually, after tonight, 3 more weeks of classes left. And again, we don't have a lot of discussions. I think the next discussion is in what, week 7? Yeah, week 7, I think. But as I was saying with Taiba before, you know, with the passing in my family, I was not as active in week 3 as I wanted to be. It definitely caught me off guard. So that's why I was a little bit slow in replying in your discussions for week 3. I graded those today and last night for the other class, but all week 3, I was flying here, flying there, funeral here, funeral there, driving back here. And it was crazy. It was absolutely insane. And when I got home Thursday night, I just passed out. But anyways, we will, of course, be collaborating tonight. I think in week 2, we had an interesting class to where even I sent out some case studies that the feedback was probably something I didn't not appreciate, that I didn't look as far as happening. Not appreciate, that's the wrong choice of words, but I really thought I was sending out the right things, and it wasn't. So I'm going to do something different tonight. We are going to talk about cases. I got an interesting case that we're going to do together. Did you guys see my my video in week 2 of the case that I did and my scribble writing and all that stuff and the announcements? Let's see here. In your announcements for week 2, let's see here. I'm still at a remote location. It's a little bit different from being home, of course, or being a place where I have everything in front of me. But we're going to make it work. So if you hear dogs, there's 2 of them, big ones, at this location. And my green screen doesn't actually look, I don't have my green screen here, so you can kind of see little bits and pieces of the home. But let's see here. We're going to make it work. We're going to make it happen. Give me a second here. All right. So I am sharing this. Let's see. Is this the video announcement or is it? Oh, here it is. The case study explained. I won't go through all of it. I just kind of want to kind of give you guys a head. See how my mind thinks. And my mind thinks in a way that might be See, I won't play the entire video because a lot of it is just processes. And what I mean by this particular case was a case that was focused on, I think this was focused on quality, if I'm not mistaken. So in that particular week, we had those 5 objectives. And as I was saying in the video, if we know the case is going to be about a certain topic, don't want to hear that anymore. So if we have a case about quality or risk, then any objective that relate to quality or risk, we should be able to apply those learning objectives, those objectives at the beginning of the chapter, into that research. And into that research, we're thinking about, okay, like what are the principles of quality? We know that quality is this and quality is that. How does that apply to this particular case? Did this person follow that? If that person knew that these are the 5 areas of quality or whatever the case may be, that's how I perceive whenever you are working in an environment of a case, is you are performing that analysis. And with that analysis being, you're only focused on either quality or research, everything that you discuss is only going to be about quality or research. Now, in some of the larger case studies to where it opens up to you're thinking about human resources, you're thinking about quality, you're thinking about procurement. That's a big one because you're thinking about every process within project management and how you can apply it to that particular case. So what I want to do is I want to only focus on one area in project management as it relates to a case, and I want the gears to turn with you guys only talking about that one particular project management knowledge area. Like for tonight, we're going to talk about risk, and we're going to have a case about I think it's risk, and I think it's conflict management. That was the closest I could find as it relates to communication. So everything that we think about in one particular case is only be about risk. What did they do right? What did they do wrong? If they would have done this right, they would have applied this principle as it relates to risk in this case. Do you guys see what I mean? I see Genevieve says yes, Taiba, Liam. Okay, we're going to work through it together. I think it's better that way. So that way I can kind of guide and help you guys as well. And I want to be engaged as well. I find, I wouldn't have this big book about project management cases for nothing, and occasionally this is my airplane book. It's just full of different cases from all different organizations, what they had to go through in order to get to a better place. I have a weird, nerdy way of reading material on planes. So I pull out my project management case book. It's good stuff. But anyways, we're going to work through it together because I want to also be a part of that as well. We will be, of course, taking our break. You guys don't let me go over your break. If I do, just send me a little message or say, hey, it's time for us to go eat something, But it's just us. It's just the 4 of us, and we can make it work. Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Sure, go right ahead.
I completely messed up and completely forgot to submit my discussion question. And it's not allowing me to submit because it's closed. I'd rather have a late grade than no grade.
Discussion questions, they actually end when the week ends. So if you don't enter them on Sunday, you can't enter them. Now your assignments, if you had an assignment, now those have a 3-day late penalty. So if you don't enter it on Sunday, you have 3 days afterwards to submit it. And if it comes in after the 3rd or 4th day, It's then escalated, of course, to the program chair in order for that person to say, okay, what's the reason? Is it doctor related? Why is this person late? So they would make that decision. But with discussion questions, if it's not entered by Sunday, and you don't have a doctor's note or anything like that, they will not open it up to allow entry. I'm sorry.
I'm blaming the class, the waste of time class last week.
You know what? You're gonna make me go back and see who had that class, because I'm interested in knowing what happened. I know there's video out there. It might be one of those videos they might say for a learning, something that we do not want to have happen as faculty. But anyways, if you'd like to talk with me after class, I definitely welcome that, Liam. Okay, anything I can help you or anyone in the class with, I definitely want to have that conversation with you one-on-one.
Yeah, I just need to try and get that grade back up, because I just took a look and it's not looking good.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk a little bit after class. All right. Any other questions? I'm just going to do a quick review of chapter 4. And then we're gonna have a little bit of fun. I think cases are fun, but let's see here. So in this week, you're reading tonight or this week, or you've maybe already, well, you've already read it, of course. This is the same book since 691 in that class. Project communication, you know, we can't get enough of that. We love project communication. And risk management, you know, that was really a big thing in your project last term. So I know you guys can either pull that information up or just know enough about it that we don't have to do a whole lecture or a whole PowerPoint presentation on those two. However, if you do need a refresher in those areas, I'm more than happy, of course, to pull it up on the screen and we can go through it together. Or you can look at it yourself in your book. You may grab some material offline just so you'll know, how to address maybe some of the questions as it relates to project communication management or project risk when we start our risk, our cases tonight. Hopefully we can do 2. Hopefully that's my goal together. All right. And we have another writing assignment. Okay. We have our very first CLA 1 writing assignment, our course, our comprehensive learning objective. That's what it is. Comprehensive learning objective. You will, of course, are asked to focus on learning objective 1, 2, and 3. Remember when we actually had a whole class, maybe in 691, of understanding what those learning objectives are? Try to pull up that information and be able to implement that in your research paper. Very simple research paper, guys. If I were you, these would be my main headings. Strategy objective, I'm going to talk about that. Objective outcomes, outcomes of the project, I'm going to talk about that. Strength and weaknesses, SWOT analysis, we're going to talk about that, and have 6 peers, peer review articles. So there's not a whole lot of things you need to do here. There is no page that you need to submit, 1 or 2 pages. But it doesn't mean you need to send me like 1 or 2 paragraphs. There is no word count. So take that as an opportunity to not have to worry about you need to submit 2 or 3 pages. If you're able to implement everything that needs to go under these objectives in 1.5 paper, not including your cover page, then please feel the need to do so. Make sure that you use your best APA writing. Make sure you indent every paragraph. Make sure you do the hanging indentions for your references. All of that relates to APA, okay? Because that is a part of how I will be grading you. And again, you want to stay in these two areas. Don't worry about these scores here. As long as you're proficient, you're good, you're golden. Okay. When you start going this way, that's not good. So stay in these two lanes. And you will be golden. You will be golden. All right. Does anybody have any questions about week 4's reading or writing? All right. Excited bunch tonight. I am so thrilled. All right. Well, let's talk about communication for a minute here. Let's see here. I'm going to take a peek at the case. So give me a second here. Just want to make sure it's organized. I don't want to send it out and just like, wait a minute, this is not right. This is a risk case. So I am going to send this out. I'm only going to do one for now. I'm going to send this out and hopefully you guys will be able to we'll be able to have some learning fun with that. All right, let's see here. All right, so these are all the objectives for communication. Let's see if I can make this. All right, they are in your book. This is strictly from the book. These are the slides that they removed from student view, but have given them to faculty. These are the slides that if you didn't download them in 691 class, you don't have them anymore, but I have them. So let's talk about communication. All right. So in communication, the greatest threat to many projects failure is to communicate. We have some points here. You cannot totally separate technical skills and soft skills when working. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm currently seeing your screen in Gap and not slides if you're sharing those. I'm not sure if that's the same for everyone else.
Okay. I thought I was doing something really different here, but let's see here. It's only showing you Gap. One moment. Much better?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Sorry about that, guys. I was sharing one screen, but not this application that I was talking about. All right. So as I was saying here, the greatest threat to many projects is a failure to communicate. Can someone in the class tell me why this statement is important? Why is the failure of communication is important?
Professor, well, because if the lack of communication will threaten the entire project and will lead to a misleading.
Okay.
And you will be not getting any point or reaching any point.
Exactly. You would be in a situation like Liam's workshop. Nothing's happening, no direction. If you're an engineer and you're building, you're a project manager for a bridge, and if you fail to communicate correctly with your team, That bridge may fall or whatever, or building a building or whatever. Main processes in communication management. What are the main process in communication management? Should be very easy for you. It's right on my screen. Who can tell me?
Planning,
Okay.
managing and monitoring.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Good deal. All right. Some more learning objectives here. How software enhanced communication as well as agile adept environments. Moving on here. Here is a snapshot from out of the PMBOK. It is also in your book. It's just an overview of project communication management overview, discusses the inputs, the technical tools, as well as your outputs here. Some good communication skills, some good communication. What is good communication? Who can tell me? What is good communication? Or what are some keys to good communication? Shouldn't be very hard. Some of the information is on my screen. I don't mind if you use this. I just want you to know.
Formal and informal methods.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Good deal.
Distributing important information. Using the formal and informal methods.
Okay. Anyone else?
Should
I
be
would
active
add
listener.
that.
Go ahead, Genevieve.
Sorry, yeah, I was just waiting for Taiba to finish, but I think I was just going to add that essentially communication boils down to ensuring that the information is communicated at the right time and the right to the right audience, as well as ensuring the right source of information gets out there. So as long as those three aspects are covered, I think that makes it effective communication.
Okay. All right. Taiba, please go right ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just about to say that should be an active listener first.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that. Focusing on group and individual communication needs. People are interchangeable parts. It talks about, as an illustrated book, the mythical man month. You cannot assume that a task originally scheduled to take 2 months of one person's time can be done in 1 month of 2 people. Next point here, every person is unique, so you cannot simply generalize based on personalities, profile, or traits. That has been my assumption in the past with some employees. I quickly learned that is not you know, how I want to actually do that. So you live and you learn. Formal and informal methods of communication. This is what Liam was talking about. What is one of the bullets here that resonate with you, Liam, as it talks about many people prefer informal communication? Which of these 3 bullets that stick out to you that you can share some insight on?
Oral communication also helps build stronger relationships among project personnel and project stakeholders.
Okay. And your particular, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so for an example, we actually started working on a new project on Monday, which is a big planting installment.
Okay.
The HOA board manager, he doesn't like to deal with communication any other way than through either over the phone or in person, which I soon found out when he was not responding to my emails.
That's interesting. You know, there is a person on my team. Well, let me say it this way. Well, I'll say it this way. There's a person on my team, and I guess it shouldn't be strange, but it is kind of strange. They don't have a cell phone. And, you know, I've probably come across maybe 5 people, you know, that are maybe in my age group or older that don't have a cell phone. And some of the communication that we have, our informal communication, can be via text. If you're not in the office you know, we have your permission to send you a text message, especially if it's an urgent need. And one of our main system administrators doesn't have any way for us to get a hold of him if something happens in the middle of the night. Okay. He has a home phone, but he says that it's turned down very low so it does not disturb him. But anyways, very, very strange story there. All right, distributing information in an ineffective way, timely manner. Someone tell me the important considerations. Which of these bullets stick out to you as an important consideration as it relates to distributing information in an effective and timely manner? Daiba, you tell me.
Professor, including detailed technical informations.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? Or why it stick out to you? Or why it's an important consideration? Elaborate, please.
It is important because if we provide in details of it, so it will enhance the communication in better way so that everyone is on the same page.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good deal. Good deal. Setting the stage for communication, bad news. You guys remember that letter I had in 691 about the young lady writing home to her parents that she was getting married and she was pregnant and she was the guide hasn't gone to school or something. I know Genevieve got some great stories. Genevieve, tell me from this screen here, setting the stage for communicating bad news.
This seems to be very apt because the project that I'm currently working on, which was supposed to deliver at the end of April, I had a bunch of people message me today saying that's not happening. And hence, I'm currently working through my risk tracker, sort of identifying what exactly the impact is and how we're going to communicate that out. So my next week is going to be essentially what's on your slide. How I use this to communicate out to my leadership that we are most likely missing that deadline.
And I know you're going to have some people that's not really going to be happy about that.
Nope.
All right. So that's definitely setting the stage. I'm curious, I'm curious, how are you going to level the stage with those stakeholders, those leaders that the project is going to not end, it's going to keep going?
Yes. So I think at this point, my strategy is to sort of get everyone in the same room. That's kind of, we have a meeting set up for next week.
Okay.
But pre-work to that, as sort of, we go in with exactly why we're delayed, how long we're going to be delayed by, in terms of doing all of our homework beforehand, and telling them that, okay, so yes, the bad news is that we're going to be slipping the timeline that we originally planned for. But based on our research, based on the work and the effort and the estimations, this is exactly the strategy that we're going to be doing to, and this is the new timeline that we have there. We're not going to just go there and say, yes, we're missing, but we don't know how long we're going to be missing by.
Okay. All right. Sound like a good strategy here. Just moving along here. These are, of course, pages inside of your book. So this is nothing hidden. I'm just going to go through because we have a lot going on tonight. Managing communication, using technology to enhance creation and distribution, global issues. These are actually really great little inserts in the book. I don't know if you guys ever spent some time just kind of reading them. They're always really little interesting little snippets there. The what went wrongs. These are cases as well that are in our books. I've actually had some of these cases in our classes before I started going to the ones that are in my old faithful book of cases. But occasionally I like talking about what went wrong. Monitoring communication. The main goal of monitoring communication is to ensure that optimal flow of information throughout the entire project lifecycle. Very important, very important. The project manager and project team should use expert judgment, project management information system, data representation, such as your workshop, interpersonal skills, such as your workshop and soft skills, and team skills, and meeting the assessment how well communication are working. Suggest for improvement for project communication. Good communication is vital in the management success of IT projects. Develop better communication skills, run effective meetings, use email and other technology effectively, employ templates for project management or project communication. Better developing skills. Most companies spend a lot of money of technical training and employees, even when employees might benefit more from communication and training. All right. The media snapshots are really great inserts in our book as well. Some good information about running effective meetings. Determine if a meeting can be avoided. Yeah. Define the purpose, such as what Genevieve was saying. Define the purpose and intent outcome of the meeting. Determine how you should attend the meeting. Provide an agenda to participants before the meeting begins or before the meeting. Prepare handouts, visual aid, make logistical arrangements ahead of time, run the meeting professionally, set the ground rules for the meeting, build relationships. All of that is great communication as working on the project team. Using email, instant messaging, texting, Kanban boards, and collaborative tools effectively. I've used all of that more or less in some of the meetings. Right now, a lot of our meetings, especially with me being hybrid, is going to be email, instant messaging, Zoom, and Cisco meeting, as well as Teams. I think internally, my project team, they do use Kanban boards. My technical team uses Kanban boards. I see that a lot in some of the meeting rooms whenever I go in, and they just left out that they have a really good plan of how they're going to be executing things. So these are things that you also want to get familiar with as well. All right, here we are at 7:18. Got a few more minutes left in the class here. These are just some templates of communication. Not going to spend a whole lot of time with this. This is information, of course, out of your book. These are actually pages out in your book. All right. The next presentation here is going to be I think that is chapter 11. Does anybody have any questions? I'll take your silence as no. Everything is going great, Professor. We are enjoying the class. I am so excited to be here tonight. You know, I missed I would spend all of my time in your class because you just give us so much good information, because you want us to be really great project managers. And I'm going to take my PMP as soon as the class is over with. I'm going to get my certification. I'm going to stand up on the stage and say, I give all of the thanks for my PMP certification to Professor Mark McCoy, who's helped me get to where I am today. Is that what you guys are going to say? Probably not. gonna be like, I did it all on myself. Professor McCoy did nothing to help me. I was so bored in his classes. I already knew what he was talking about anyway. This is all mine, all mine. He has no impact on me academically. I could have saved money by going to not taking this class at all.
Where do we get a PMP certification?
Where do we get it?
Yeah.
The best way to start is at the PMI Institute, and they will actually set it up to where you can actually schedule your PMP there, or you can go, there are satellite agencies. I'm not sure where you are, but there is actually proctored agencies that offer certifications that you can actually do the project management certification there. But the way that I did it is got a membership on the PMI. Because you're a student. I think you get it for like $40 a year. And then you get the PMBOK 6 book online, you get that. And they have a lot of tools on the PMI website. And when you're ready to take the exam, there is a link there that will find a location where you are and a location where you can actually take the PMP. That was easy for me. Moving on here, we got about 7 minutes left in the class. Do you have any more questions, Liam? I'm going to kind of zoom through this really quick.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. So this is the risk portion that I am going to talk about. So we all know about risk. It was one of the courses or one of the subjects I spent a lot of time on last term. So we're going to kind of go through this, okay? In the learning objectives for risk, explain the concept of risk as it relates to project management, a list of advantages in managing project risk according to the best practices, discuss the elements of planning risk management and the content of risk management, list common sources of risk on information technology projects, describe the process identifying risk to create risk registers and risk reports, discuss qualitative risk analysis and explain how to calculate risk factors, complete probability impacts matrix, and apply the top 10 risk tracking technique rank risk. Explain qualitative risk analysis and how to apply decision trees, simulation and sensitivity analysis to quantify risk, provide examples of using different risk response planning strategy to address both negative and positive risk, discuss how to monitor risk, discuss how software to assist project management, and the consideration of agile and adaptive environment. One of the strong areas in the book, of course, is risk. We always want to be prepared for risk. The importance of risk management. What is the importance of risk management? That is for you guys. That's questions for you. The importance of risk management. Project management is an art of science of identifying, analyzing, and responding to risk throughout the life of the project and in the best interest of meeting project objectives. Anybody want to Anybody want to elaborate on this? Or share something about the importance of risk? Help me help you guys. There's got to be questions out there.
I've always seen risk management as a way to protect the organization.
Or protect you.
Yeah, yourself and the organization.
Yourself and your organization, your project team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Research shows a need to improve project risk management. Why? Why do we research to improve project risk management? If any of these bullets stick out to you, I don't mind you using them, but please elaborate on why you chose it.
I think it's human tendency to sort of not plan for risk because we don't expect things to go wrong. We expect things to go right. It's like we call it like the green field testing sort of thing, right? We expect everything to go as planned, but things happen. Sometimes it's expected, sometimes it's unexpected. And so maybe there is research now in terms of just trying to improve how we work through risk, talk about it upfront rather than only when it occurs. To ensure that we are better prepared as we execute through the different phases of the project to sort of anticipate any of these unexpected outcomes and what we would do to mitigate that, as well as we can't plan for everything. And again, that's another caveat that I want to call out. You can only plan for the things that you know. Sometimes things will come up. So you kind of have to plan for just giving yourself maybe a little bit of buffer time for these unexpected things to come up as well. And I think that's kind of why it's important for project-based management.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Moving on here, this is still talking about risk management. This is 3 of 7. Some global issues here. Again, these are cases inside of your book. Some more. Again, there's 7 of these of the importance of risk. Some best practices of risk. Some organizations make the mistake of only addressing technical or tactical and negative risk when performing project risk management. Here's some bullets here. Why do you think we as people, we as project managers, seem to only address tactical and negative risk when performing project risk management? I think Genevieve kind of elaborate a little bit on it. Can someone else kind of give me some more information? Why do we do that? We have some suggestions here. David Hilson suggested overcoming the problem by widening the scope of risk management to encompass both strategic and upside opportunities, which refer to the integrated risk management. Hilson described the importance of good working relationships, especially between the project sponsor and project manager. So these are some good points. If you guys want to do some more research about that, I suggest you do. Some more importance of risk management. Some visual displays of adverse risk, neutral risk, and seeking risk. We see the difference here, potential payoff of utilities, potential payoff of this utility, potential payoff of this utility. Which one of these seem more favorable for you as a project manager? If utilities is what your project is about, we're thinking about the importance of project risk. We have 3 visuals here. Which one is most appealing? Very simple. This one right here would be most appealing. You would want to have your potential payoff to have a clear line that lets you know what that potential payoff is. Here, you don't know. It looks like it started off, but then it curved. So it's going the wrong way. Here, it kind of started off, but immediately it starts to curve up. So it looks like it may get there, but it had this huge bow in it like this. So it is 10:30 now, guys. It is time for your 10-minute break. Please come back here at 7:40. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone, from our very short 10-minute break. We are going to pick up certainly where we left off, and that is in the realm of risk. And then when we're done, we're going to move quickly into the case here. Excuse me. I want to share my screen once again. All right, it's going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. All right, good deal. All right, the importance of project risk management, 7 of 7. Project risk management processes, planning risk management, identifying risk, performing qualitative risk analysis, planning risk responses, implementing risk responses, monitoring risk. Planning risk management, the main output of this process is process is a risk management plan. All right. So when we plan risk management, the main output is a risk management plan. This document, this procedure, performing risk throughout the project. The project team should review project documents as well as corporate risk management policies, risk categories, lessons learned, reports from past projects, and templates for creating a risk management plan. It is also important to review the risk tolerance of various stakeholders. All right. Additional plans. We have contingency plans. We have contingency reverse or allowance. We have management reverse. Has anyone in the class ever dealt with any of these types of plans? Anyone? Genevieve, maybe? Liam?
Plans.
Contingency plan. Okay. All right. What about the fallback plan? Developed for risks that have high impact on meeting project objectives and are put into effect if attempts to reduce the risk are not effective. Fallback plan. To me, that's like the last.
I was just going to share that, yes, we do have a fallback plan for the project that I was highlighting earlier, because there's an issue with a migration that has unknown risks that are that could come into play. And so for us to keep to a certain timeline, we've also identified a fallback plan that is still going to push us out. But if we don't have to migrate, there will be setup of new components that need to take place, and that's our fallback plan. So definitely you've seen that before.
Okay. All right. What about the management reverse or allowance? Haven't seen a lot of that, especially at the company that I work for now. Everything that we have are going to be a part of just these two, but has anyone ever heard of contingency reverse or allowance? Funds included in the cost baseline that can be used to migrate cost of schedule overruns if known risk occur. It might be something I may ask the senior project manager if they utilize this. Management reverse. Funds held for unknown risk that are used for management control purposes. That's interesting. Okay, never heard of that or never utilized that. Some methodologies here. Methodologies and questions and answers. Methodology, how will risk be performed on this project? What tools or data source are available and applicable? It's the topic. Roles and responsibilities. Which people are responsible for implementing specific tasks and providing deliverables related to risk management? Budget and schedule. What are the estimate cost and schedule for performing risk relative activities, and so on and so on? Some good planning, risk management. Something that you may want to jot down if you need to. It is, of course, in your book here. Common sources of risk of IT project. There's so many, but we have a few here. Several studies show that IT projects share some common source of risk. The Standish Group developed an IT success potential scoring sheet based on potential risk. Other board categories or broad categories of risk help identify potential risk: market risk, financial risk, technology risk, people risk, structure, process risk. That's kind of what I see normal in our risk plans. What about you guys? Does anybody see anything different or anything they could add that may be or contribute to a common risk for IT projects? I think for my organization, since we are a small engineering firm, financial risk, our biggest pot of monies come from our investors. Our investors that want us to engineer products that will help them in the medical field. When we have products that have a high price tag associated with them, it takes us a long time to get funding. When things happen in the market, funding freezes, and that stalls our projects. That stands out to me. We don't have a lot of technology risk. We have them, but they don't come up that affects projects greatly. I mean, yeah, we have our day-to-day, issues, but nothing to stop a project from happening. And again, these are very broad risk. Anyone else want to contribute? Okay. A risk breakdown structure. Does anybody know what a risk breakdown structure is? A risk breakdown structure sound very close to another term with breakdown structure in it. What is a risk breakdown structure? Okay, guys, what's going on? Are you
It's
guys?
a hierarchy where we
Go
follow
ahead,
the high
Taiba.
levels,
Thank you.
high levels of the categories.
Thank you. I highlight what a risk breakdown structure was, and I asked you guys what it was, and nobody said anything for a minute. Is everything okay?
I haven't encountered a risk breakdown structure before, Professor, which is why I was kind of curious about what that was, and looking it up.
Okay. All right. Work breakdown structures, of course. Risk breakdown structures are very much the same. We're breaking down the risk package into its smallest form, manageable form, and we're working through it. Basically, that's what it is. Okay, you have a work breakdown package, you have your risk breakdown package. They have the exact same reasoning behind it. All right, moving on here to some common risk related to IT project. We have some more questions here. Some of the what went wrongs. Again, these are great cases here. And we have some identifying risk here. Some good information that we learned in 691. Some more about identifying risk, brainstorming here. Experienced facilitators should run the brainstorming session. Be careful not to misuse brainstorming. Some more identifying risks using the Delphi technique used to derive a consensus among a panel of experts who make predictions about future development, provide independent and anonymous inputs regarding future events. Use repeated rounds of questioning and written responses to avoid basis effects possible of oral methods. This is something that is not big at, let me say it a different way. There are project managers that really utilize this fully. My whole thing is that the majority of my technical people have a project manager background, and this process takes forever because it has their own opinions about identifying risk. It's hard forming consensus. I take them too long decisions. So I really like to have the panel of at least 3 to 5 people, no more than that, and allow them to make the consensus instead of having 10 to 15 people there making decisions. Definitely takes too long, but this is a great technique to identify risk. Interviewing, fact-finding technique for collecting information face-to-face, phone, email, virtual discussions. Interviewing people with similar project experience is important tool for identifying potential risk. Of course, we have something that we're going to be writing about in our CLA1 assignment. We have the SWOT analysis, our strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Helps identify a broad negative, positive risks that apply to the project. Risk register. What is a risk register? Let me ask you guys some questions. What is a risk register?
Essentially a consolidation of all the risk items that a project could is facing or has closed out, listing the description, maybe the priority, the impact, the owner. What else? That's all I can think of.
It's fine. You've said a mouthful. Thank you so very much. And this is what it looks like here. More information here. Some of the content here. Genevieve named quite a few, but here are some more here. Not saying that this is the holy grail, because depending on your organization, your register may be different. Okay. This is an example of what some look like. Risk report content, sources of overall project risk, important drivers for overall project exposure, summary information, and risk events. Qualitative risk analysis. What is qualitative risk analysis? Someone other than Genevieve.
Is it a tool and technique to identify risks?
Okay. All right. When we think about qualitative, are we thinking about numbers, or are we thinking about non-numbers? This was a 691 question, I remember. I don't think you guys remember. Qualitative.
Non-numbers.
Awesome. What about quantitative?
Add numbers.
All right. Somebody remember. Thank you. Where are you guys tonight? I'm scratching my head here. You guys are half asleep. I need to make some coffee or something. What's going on? We got to get those gears turning here.
It's the week away we had from you.
Okay. Liam is buttering it up as if we need that. You needed that week, right? Yeah, right.
It's so bitter over my.
Yeah, I bet. All right. So we're moving on here. I want to actually jump into the case. We may just only do one. But again, these are all slides from the book of risk. We talked about it so much in 691. And there's a lot of slides because it's almost every slide out of the book. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions about risk? Does anybody have any questions about communication? All right. Well, if you have them now or later, please let me know, because I don't want you to leave my class scratching your head thinking, I don't think he ever talked about risk. Or I see that on my review, my survey, blank student says you didn't talk about risk. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, it's on a recorded video. I can pull it up. So please don't leave my class for the final time scratching your head that there's something about project management that you don't know about, you're curious about, or anything. I am your resource here. I've got the 28 years of project management, leadership. Please use me. I want you to use me in a good way. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and put this away. And let's do something a little bit fun, a little bit more challenging, but it's also interesting. I want you guys to think about whenever you are looking at these cases, just open your mind up to project management. You guys remember, what was the student name? He was in the 691 class. He was also in the 692 class at the same time. It was an
Reggie?
error. Who?
Reggie?
Yes, Reggie. That was an error. That was nothing. They had him in the class and they couldn't take him out because he was already in it. So he was in a 2 class at the same time. But one of the things about what he shared with me in one of our meetings is that he was able to look at what he's learned and, in a sense, develop a philosophy of how project management would work in that particular scenario. And other students have done this as well. I want you guys to fall into the case and really try to figure out what went wrong. I'm the project manager here. How can I make this better? What is something that should have happened? Okay. There really isn't a wrong answer to it, because when you're a project manager and you have so much stuff on your table, you are the one that's organizing what goes what needs what attention needs to go here, who needs to do this, who needs to do that. You never come into a situation to where something is laid out. Never. Whenever I started a project or came in when a project manager was removed, and I'm having to put together what he's already done, what he hasn't done, what he should have done, or what she should have done, what she had done, what's working, what's not working. That is the dynamic skill set that all project managers have. And I know you guys have it as well. Otherwise, you would not be in this class in your graduate studies. So look at these cases and just think about it. Just think about it. How could what I've learned apply to this case? Okay, does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, Well, let's look at a conversation here. Okay, it's not very long, and we're going to work through it together. And I want to see those gears and you guys start to turn and try to solve, or maybe come close to trying to figure out what is going on in these cases. All right, let's start off with this one. I'm going to share my screen now. All right, so I'm not going to send it to you. That's not necessary, but I am, of course, going to make my screen as large as possible so that you can see it. Can everybody see my screen? Some heads moving, thumbs up.
Is it possible to zoom in a little bit?
Let's see if that's possible. How about that?
Yeah, that works. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we also have this in our announcements?
No. Is that something you think you guys need in your announcements?
Yeah, it's just kind of difficult to read
Okay. All right. No problem.
in my eyes.
All right. Give me just a second here.
Thank you.
I'm working on a different screen. Can you guys still see the case, or do you see my email?
We see that you're typing case week 4.
All right. I put it into your announcement.
Thank you, Professor.
All right, for those of us who are still reading it, and for those of us who are done reading it, can anyone tell me what's going on here? Can someone give me a synopsis of what's going on here?
So the case is like highlighting the importance of risk management in the telecom industry and how Packers executives are trying to implement it.
Okay. All right. All right. Some more stuff going on here. Thank you so very much. What else is going on here? What is the problem? Or what does it seem like what the problem is with the communication from the meeting?
It's basically a disagreement happening over here, Professor.
What is the disagreement about?
It's about the templates, the formatting existing, which is there. The sponsor is not willing to approve it. I think he's like about to needs to be trained, then needs to be have what impact on it.
Okay. Why is
Someone
there
worded.
why is there I'm sorry, let me go ahead. You said repeat that.
Yeah, they're having a disagreement on how the templates are worded, and that they should be tailored to the specific company.
Okay. All right. So the communication is between the project sponsor and the project manager, and it seems like there is a disagreement, or maybe not disagreement. There is a concern of two different voices. One person wants this, and another person maybe wants something else. So from the meeting, we understand that the project sponsor starts off. And he says, I've read your report and looked at your template. You have words and expressions in the template we don't use here at Packer. This concerns me greatly. Do we have to change how we manage projects to use these templates? Are we expected to make major changes to our existing project management methodology? The project manager Liam, read that for me, the PM part.
Do you mean where it says I would like to use these templates to implement their existing formats? Okay. If the other companies are using these templates, then so should we also. These templates also have the same probability distributions that other companies are using. I consider these facts equivalent to validation of the templates.
Genevieve, read the sponsor part. Shouldn't that, go ahead.
Shouldn't the templates be tailored to our project management methodologies and life cycle phases? These templates may have undergone validation, but not at Packer. The probability distributions are also based on someone else's history, not ours. I need help finding something in your report about justifying the probabilities. The final problem I have is that the templates are based on history. I understand that risk management should be forward-looking, attempting to predict possible future outcomes. I need help finding this in your templates.
Daiba, the PM part.
I understand your concern, but don't believe the problem I prefer to use the next project as a breakthrough project using this play. This will give us a good process to validate the templates.
Liam, the sponsor part. The last line.
I will need to think about your request. I am not sure we can use these templates about risk management training for our employees.
Okay. Why can't these templates be changed or transferred to another company? Why can't these templates be transferred from one company to another? Or why can't they be tailored for this particular company? Talk about it, think it out, talk it out in your head. This is what I want you guys to start thinking about.
I was thinking it could be related to the industry, maybe, because or the specific telecom industry, maybe there are a set of templates, but each company within that industry might be doing things slightly differently. And so I don't know if that answers the question because I'm still turning that over in my head, but I think you were asking why can't they be tailored to a particular company?
Why can't they? And good. I like that response. I would like to know, because obviously there is a problem. The project manager hasn't done it yet. Why? What's the problem? So what else, guys? Thank you, Genevieve. Give me one more response as it relates to why these templates can't be transferred from one company to another or just tailored for this company. You will get these questions if you ever are a new project manager for a new company and you have a sponsor. You come there with your portfolio of the things you've done. You have your own templates, but you have a planned sponsor that don't particularly like your templates, but they are effective. Happened to me many times. So give me another response as it relates to why can't these templates be transferred from one company to another or tailored?
I'm not sure I have a response on why they can't, because in my head, I feel like they can and they should
So
be.
they should be. Okay. Okay. All right. Taiba, do you have a idea or what your response would be as it relates to that question? Why is
Is
there
it
so much
because of
pushback? Go ahead.
I budgeting since
Okay. That could be, it
where
will.
we cannot transfer it to the other company?
All right. I would like to use these templates in their existing format. If other companies are using these templates, then we should also. These templates also have the same probability distribution that other companies are using. I consider these fact equivalent to a validation of the templates. If other companies are using them, they're not having any problems with them. This project manager is standing behind their templates, and he is considering that if the facts of the equivalent of using these, that other firms are using these templates, it validates why we should use them. But you have a plan sponsor that doesn't. Moving on here. Can probability distribution be transferred from one company to another? Can probability distribution be transferred from one company to another? If you've forgotten what probability is, think about it, Google search it, and tell me what you think. Can probability distributions be transferred from one company to another? Again, we're thinking about risk, only thinking about risk. If probability and distribution can be transferred from one company to another, tell me why.
I think tying back to my previous answer, if they're in the same industry, then I think it should be transferable.
Okay. Anyone else? Can anyone else tell me how can you create a probability distribution? You got your little Google screen open at the bottom. Type in and tell me, how do you create a probability distribution?
Determine the type of data, collect and analyze the data.
Okay.
Choose your distribution.
Okay.
Plot the distribution, validate the distribution.
These templates also have the same probability distribution that other companies are using. Say it again with clarity, Liam. What is probability distribution?
It's a mathematical function that describes the likelihood of different outcomes or events occurring.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. So, question 2, the probability distribution be transferred from one company to another? Yes, it can. It sure can. Especially if other companies are using the exact same template and they're getting good results from it, then why not? So yes, it can. Number 3, how do you validate a risk management template? How do you validate a risk management template?
Trial and error. So you start entering or populating the information that you have for the particular project that you're working on and identify if there are extra fields that you're not using or things that you feel that are required and are missing, and you add it on there.
Okay. I'm sorry, Genevieve took us someplace. Anyone else? As a project man, go ahead.
I'm in agreement with Genevieve. Trial and error is a good option. That way you can assess the outcomes of the project and maybe even get feedback from the stakeholders.
Okay, I like where we're going. This is what I want. Exactly, getting feedback from the stakeholders. So, in a sense, you have provided your stakeholders, your project team, with information from the templates that you have to validate their useful, to validate their probability. Your team, your stakeholders will say, yes, no, we don't need this, or this is repeat, we're going someplace. Daiba, your input.
So, Professor, we can revise it entirely by getting the feedback and all.
Okay.
So it will validate it.
Okay. All right. And if those results come back as positive results, meaning that, okay, well, yeah, we removed some things, we're going to validate that these are the elements of our templates that we're going to use. Moving on. This is good. This is good. Should a risk management template be forward-looking? Sometimes we think we know what forward-looking is. If we need a refresher, Google it. What is forward-looking? Should documents such as risk be forward-looking? What is a forward-looking document?
Which is the ability to manage the existing risk.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, a forward-looking document focuses on future plans, goals, and objectives.
Okay. All right. This is what I like. I'm smiling. This is what I like. All right. So the question, should a risk management template be forward-looking? Liam?
Yes, they should.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. It should. It should. Risk change. You have to be knowledgeable of the risk. Your documents that you either have with you when you start this project, they need to be forward-looking. They need to be adaptable. They need to be open to change. All right. Last question. Can employees begin using a risk management template without some form of specialized training? Common question. Should or can employees, your project team members, can they begin using a risk management template without some form of specialized training?
In my experience, I haven't actually had specific risk management training, but I think it is a good practice maybe to sort of call out what are the different items that we're looking for as part of a risk register. It could be very general. It doesn't have to be very specific to, a thing. But yes, I think some sort of like head information is required, but I don't think a formal training per se.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think that ideally anything that involves risk should have some sort of training, like just to ensure that you're mitigating all risks. You don't want to just be put in charge of risk management and not knowing what you're supposed to be managing in terms of risk.
Yes. Yes. I like that. I like both answers. Taiba, what do you think?
Yeah, I just want to add like at least a basic knowledge to be there to get everyone should be prepared about it. So at least a basic knowledge should be there in the training. So that, yeah.
In my experience, a little bit of Genevieve, but a whole lot of Liam and Taiba. Okay. As a project manager, it is your responsibility to make sure that your project team is well informed on all of the documents and tools that they will be using. Specialized training, if you have a mixture, such as in my firm, I have certified project managers and I have industry project managers. I have project managers with their certifications for 1 year, but I have non-certified project managers that's been managing projects for 25 and 30 years. They both will need specialized training as it relates to forward-looking documents and any other softwares that we will be using in our project. This is what I like. This is this thinking that we're doing. We're working ourselves through it. Do you guys see why these cases and these questions are important? Do you see why I talk about them so much? I want to know from you guys before we leave tonight.
Yeah, it gets you thinking, it gets you thinking as a project manager.
Exactly. You are absolutely correct. And some of these cases, like the one we had a couple of weeks ago, it was a little bit lengthy. It required a little bit more thought. There was a little bit of a shuffle in regards to this isn't the right one that matched with the question. I get that. However, this is how I want you guys to think for the next 3 weeks. So whether or not we have a discussion or we have another live class or whatever the case may be, this is the mindset that we need to have going forward. We're thinking through these cases. There is no 100% wrong. There is no 100% right. As a project manager, when you go into these projects, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. But you have to think about all of the possibilities of what is going on. And as you work through them, you will dissolve, okay, I didn't need to do that. Yes, I need to do that. Yes, I'm going to have these types of complex conversation with this sponsor, with this simple case to where you have a disagreement from a plan sponsor or a project sponsor about templates. This is an actual meeting that someone is uncomfortable with a project manager who has templates that have been validated by other industries using them, but you have this particular sponsor who feels like they're not for our firm. There's not a problem with that, but what is the problem with using these forms? All right, guys, it is 11:33. Thank you for staying over the 3 minutes of the class. I hope that that you see where I want to go with you guys moving forward. If there aren't any questions, guys, I will see you next week. It's a promise. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you, Professor. Good night.
You're welcome. Good night.
Professor, can I ask a question on the CLA, please?
Sure. Let me stop sharing here. Get out of this screen.
I'm just going to pull up the syllabus first. So the question asks to conduct a research exploration using the internet and find similar similar projects to the project you are managing. Now, that project, is it the one that relates to what we did in PA1?
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right, that was my only question. Just wanted to make sure.
I was going to try to find the syllabus. Okay, all right. Is there any other questions that I may help you with before you leave my class tonight?
No, that was it. Just wanted to make sure I fully understand this, because my grade took a big dip by missing that discussion question. So
yeah, if you have a reason that can be validated as it relates to missing that, and it does have documentation associated with it, I would say submit it to me. Email it to me. I will forward it to the program chair. And either you are able to, if they're able to open it up just for you, or at the end of the class, when the class is over, they will review your request, and they will make the decision whether or not to allow that. But it really has to be a really good, valid reason for them to open up this just for you.
Yeah, no, I just just overworked and forgot about it. So I don't really have a valid reason.
Okay. All right. But yeah, is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. Have a great night, Liam.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.